What if I told you there's a way to become completely unshakable in a chaotic world? That no matter how intense the storm around you gets, stress, anxiety, heartbreak, you could remain calm, strong, and at peace. Sounds impossible, right? But over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers unlocked timeless principles that can help anyone live with unbreakable serenity and courage. They believed that true strength doesn't come from controlling what happens to us, but from controlling how we respond. Imagine having the mental clarity to face anything life throws at you and walk through it like still water. In this video, we'll explore how to adopt that mindset, how to act like nothing disturbs you anymore. The secret, it starts in your own mind. When you stop clinging to imaginary fears, accept the impermanence of life, and learn to see every obstacle as an opportunity, that's when peace becomes your natural state. That's when nothing can shake you. So, are you ready to awaken that inner power? Join me on this journey as we uncover the Stoic way, not just to survive, but to thrive. Let's begin. Point 1. View obstacles as opportunities. Life is a winding road filled with twists, challenges, and unexpected setbacks. But what if every obstacle wasn't a curse, but a hidden doorway to your growth? Can you see it? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic minds in history, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very thing that blocks you teaches you. Take a moment to reflect on the story of Jesus, a powerful example of transforming suffering into grace. Betrayed, humiliated, and enduring unimaginable pain, he didn't let bitterness consume him. Instead, he used his agony to shine a light on forgiveness, love, and resilience. His darkest hours became moments of divine meaning. Sound familiar? That's the heart of Stoicism. Adversity isn't punishment. It's a path inward. The next time you face something difficult, ask yourself, did I let it crush me, or did I use it to grow? Because real strength comes from choosing the second path. That's how we stop merely enduring life and begin truly living it. As Marcus Aurelius said, obstacles are not your enemies. They are teachers, guiding you through hardship to find the light in even the darkest places. Approach life with this mindset, and slowly, quietly, you'll become untouchable. 2. Don't suffer imaginary pain. Have you ever caught yourself spiraling over something that hasn't even happened yet? We all do it. We imagine worst-case scenarios. Before a big exam, a critical meeting, or a tough conversation, we play out disasters in our heads. And then, more often than not, the reality turns out to be far gentler than we feared. Stoicism teaches us a radical truth. Most of our suffering isn't real. It's imagined. Think about that. How much of your pain is just a story your mind is telling you? Jesus taught something similar. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day already holds enough for us to carry. Why borrow weight from a future that hasn't come? When we let go of these imagined torments, we free ourselves. We stop suffering twice, once in our minds, and then again in reality. And in that space, peace finds us. In our last part, we uncovered how most of our suffering comes not from reality, but from our imagination. Let's now take that insight deeper, because learning to live in the present moment may be the most powerful shift of all. Too often, we burden ourselves with the weight of future troubles that may never even come. Remember the words, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Each day has enough trouble of its own. This wisdom reminds us to stop dragging future fears into today. Think of a farmer anxiously obsessing over whether his crops will survive drought, pests, or poor weather. Does his fear nourish the soil or bring the rain? Or does it only drain his energy and steal the joy of a hopeful season? Now think about your own life. How many times have you imagined worst-case scenarios that never came true? How many hours have you spent suffering in advance for problems that never arrived? Do those imaginary pains serve you, or do they steal your peace? Instead of drowning in hypothetical worries, Stoicism urges us to focus on what's real, what's now. When faced with a difficult situation, anchor yourself in the present. Ask yourself, is this really happening? Or is this just my mind playing tricks on me? This one question can break the spell of anxiety. It pulls you back to clarity, because most of the time, our greatest fears are just shadows we've cast in our minds. Choose instead to focus on what you can control. When stress or panic creeps in, pause and question, is this fear useful? Is it based on fact or fiction? Seek truth. Let logic guide you. Life becomes lighter when we stop carrying the weight of what might be. When you live fully in the present and meet life's challenges with clarity and courage, you begin to feel a deeper sense of freedom. That's the power of Stoic philosophy and the teachings of Jesus, working together to help you create a life of peace, meaning, and strength. And now, let's explore secret number 3 in our journey to becoming the strongest version of ourselves. But before we dive in, ask yourself this. Why do we hold on so tightly to things that were never meant to last? That question leads us to our next core truth. 3. Embrace impermanence. Life is like a river, always flowing, never still. Nothing remains the same for long. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher of Rome, once said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." His words remind us that the world is in constant motion, including our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Change is not a threat. It's the nature of life. Impermanence doesn't just refer to the things around us, relationships, jobs, fortunes. It also lives inside us. One day we feel joy. Another day we may feel loss. Both are part of the human experience, and neither stays forever. Jesus, too, taught us to embrace change and seek strength not from what is fleeting, but from what is eternal. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. In other words, we must feed not just the body, but the soul, with wisdom, with faith, and with trust that change brings meaning. Think back to a moment in your life when everything shifted. Maybe you lost someone. Maybe you achieved something great. Did those moments reshape you? Did you come out stronger? When we accept impermanence, we find peace. We learn to welcome change instead of fearing it. we begin to see that each ending opens space for something new. And with that awareness, we start to treasure the present more, the smiles at dinner, the sound of laughter, the quiet seconds with someone we love. Can you learn to let go and find peace in the truth that nothing lasts forever? When you do, life feels lighter, and your heart somehow grows stronger. And when we embrace impermanence fully, something shifts inside us. We stop fearing loss or change. Instead, we begin to live each moment with greater presence, with gratitude, and with open-hearted love. In essence, accepting impermanence is more than just a way of thinking. It's a way of being, a gentle art that leads us to serenity, joy, and freedom. Let both Stoic philosophy and the teachings of Jesus guide you on this sacred path. You will find strength in your soul when you no longer resist change, but flow with it. After all, it is change that makes life so astonishingly beautiful. For master the art of detachment. Life is unpredictable. We face loss, disappointment, and sudden turns we never saw coming. But the truth is, it's not the events themselves that hurt us the most. It's how we respond. To detach is not to avoid, deny, or become indifferent. It's about seeing clearly what's within our control and what isn't. It's about refusing to hand our happiness over to circumstances we cannot change. Even Jesus taught us to let go and trust in a higher power. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. This invites us to surrender the weight we're not meant to carry, and instead anchor ourselves in faith. Think about it. How many times have you held on to a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or a painful regret? Did clinging to it make you feel better, or did it slowly drain your spirit? Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "That which is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees." In other words, if something harms your soul or your community, let it go. It doesn't belong in your life. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space for healing, for new chances, for better things to come. And sometimes, the greatest courage is simply choosing to move forward without dragging the past behind you. Next time you feel consumed by something you can't change, ask yourself, is this truly important? Is it within my control? If the answer is no, breathe and release it. Letting go is not weakness. It's wisdom in action. And the result? A sense of peace you may not have felt in years. True freedom lies not in holding tighter, but in knowing when to release. Both Jesus and the Stoics show us the path to inner peace through detachment. This is a powerful practice, and one we must return to daily. So let me ask you, are you ready to master the art of letting go? If so, leave a comment below saying, "Mastering the art of letting go," and let's begin a deeper conversation about applying Stoic wisdom to build a calmer, clearer, more meaningful life. Because behind every challenge, there's a hidden opportunity, if you have the eyes to see it. 5. Practice daily reflection. Have you ever paused, truly paused, at the end of the day to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, your emotions? This simple habit is at the very heart of Stoic living. Daily reflection is how we step out of automatic living and return to intention. It's how we assess where we've stumbled, where we've grown, and where we still need to work. It is not about guilt or shame. It's about learning, humbly and honestly, so we can show up better tomorrow. When we make time for daily reflection, we don't just revisit our actions. We uncover deeper truths about who we are. With this awareness comes the power to grow, to change, and to become better. Imagine this, just a few quiet minutes each night, pen in hand, writing down what you've learned. What challenged you today? Where did you rise? And where did you stumble? What would you like to do differently tomorrow? This simple practice of journaling, of observing your thoughts without judgment, can open the door to extraordinary growth and a richer understanding of yourself. Even Jesus emphasized the importance of self-reflection. Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. This powerful message calls us to pause before judging others and turn our gaze inward. With humility and compassion, ask yourself, how often do I take time to reflect on my day, my actions, my words, my emotions? And when you do you notice how much wisdom is hidden in your own experience? When you practice reflection regularly, you begin to evolve. You stop repeating old patterns. You learn to live with more authenticity and intention. Let this become your sacred evening ritual, a space of calm, learning, and gentle accountability. Remember, on this journey of becoming your best self, you are not alone. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism and the timeless teachings of Jesus walk beside you. They are there to support, guide, and remind you you have the strength to grow every single day. 6. Cultivate gratitude in the rush of daily life. It's easy to focus on what's missing, on what we haven't achieved yet, on the things we lack. But what if the real path to joy is not chasing more, but noticing what's already here? Gratitude is a quiet superpower. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from complaining to cherishing. Think about the small, beautiful things that often go unnoticed. A kind smile from a stranger, a breathtaking sunset, a friend who checks in, a meal shared with someone you love. These aren't small things. These are everything. Jesus reminded us of this truth. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Gratitude isn't reserved for the good days. It's a practice for every day. No matter the weather, take a moment each day to reflect. What am I grateful for today? Is it your health, your family, a second chance, a lesson learned? And then ask yourself, what blessings have I been taking for granted? How can I honor them more deeply? When we focus on what we have, instead of what we don't, something magical happens. Our hearts soften, our minds become clearer, our lives feel fuller. Gratitude rewires your brain. It lifts your spirit, and it invites more joy into even the most ordinary moments. Both Stoic philosophy and the teachings of Jesus point us toward this truth. Happiness is found not in what we possess, but in how we perceive what we have. 7. Develop inner resilience. Life will challenge you. That's a promise. But what defines your strength is not what happens to you. It's how you respond. Resilience is the quiet force within you, the strength to rise after falling, To keep going even when everything feels heavy. It's the ability to look adversity in the eye and say, "You will not break me." 8. Avoid creating unnecessary trouble. You ever caught yourself being upset over something trivial? Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or the weather ruined your plans, or a careless comment lingered in your mind all day. Ask yourself, was it truly a big deal? Or did I turn a small moment into a storm? We do this all the time. Create suffering where there doesn't need to be any. Even Jesus taught us to guard our minds from worry and fear. In the Bible, he says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes?" This timeless teaching from Jesus encourages us to release the grip of daily worries, especially the ones that distract us from what truly matters. It's a call to trust, to let go, and to live with greater peace. Picture this. You're rushing to an important meeting, and suddenly, traffic, your stomach tightens. Anger bubbles up. You blame yourself for not leaving earlier. Sound familiar? But then pause and ask yourself, will this frustration get me there any faster? What can I do right now that's actually helpful? In that still moment, you have a choice. You can let stress consume you, or you can breathe, accept the moment, and maybe even turn it into something valuable. Listen to an audiobook. Reflect in silence. Call someone you've been meaning to speak with. That's the power of perspective. Most of the storms in our minds, we create them ourselves. Once you understand that many of your frustrations are self-made, you begin to shift. You start responding instead of reacting. You stop sweating the small stuff. And slowly, gently, life feels lighter. From this moment forward, you can choose. Will I create unnecessary troubles, or will I choose peace, presence, and perspective? Because peace isn't something you find. It's something you practice. And both Stoic philosophy and the teachings of Jesus remind us again and again. We were never meant to carry every burden. We were meant to live with faith, clarity, and grace. Have you noticed how often the tiniest things can ruin your mood? A careless comment, a cancelled plan, rain on a day you hoped for sunshine. Are these things truly as terrible as they feel? Or have you made them bigger than they are? Let's be honest. How many times have you allowed a minor inconvenience to spiral into a full-blown emotional storm? Jesus, with unmatched gentleness, taught us not to let worry and worldly concerns dominate our inner peace. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life. These words call us back to calm, to trust, to clarity. Yes, life throws curveballs, but you don't have to catch everyone. Some things you can simply let pass. The next time you feel overwhelmed by something small, pause. Ask yourself, is this truly worth my peace? More often than not, the answer is no. When we stop magnifying trivial problems, when we stop giving energy to things that don't deserve it, we regain control. We make space for joy. Let go of what doesn't serve your spirit. Focus on what uplifts, strengthens, and nourishes you. Because in the end, peace isn't found in a perfect day. It's found in how you handle the imperfect ones. 9. Focus on the how. Not the what. Have you ever chased a goal with all your might and still felt strangely lost? Sometimes we know what we want: a promotion, a healthier body, a closer relationship. But even with those clear goals, we feel empty. Why? Stoic philosophy offers us an answer. It's not just what you pursue that matters. It's how you pursue it. The principle of focusing on the how, not the what, teaches us to pay attention to our actions, our methods, and our mindset. Because that's where fulfillment lives. In the process, not just the prize. How you do something, your attitude, your method, your intention, matters far more than the final result. This shift in focus helps you release attachment to outcomes and instead find strength in your process. By putting your energy into how you show up, with integrity, presence, and patience, you gain control over your inner peace, no longer tossed by the winds of external success or failure. You become grounded. So take a moment to reflect. How do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you lose peace chasing perfection? Or do you anchor yourself in mindful action? We invite you to share your stories in the comments. How have you learned to handle minor troubles? What helps you stay centered in the middle of life's chaos? Let's grow through these teachings together. 10. Prioritize rationality over emotion. Have you ever made a choice in a moment of intense emotion, only to regret it later? We all have. It's part of being human. But Stoic philosophy gently reminds us, let reason lead, and peace will follow. Emotions are fleeting. Wisdom is steady. In daily life, challenges will always arise. A cutting remark, a bad day, a moment of deep frustration. But before reacting, pause, breathe, ask, what's the wisest response I can offer here? Think back to a time you acted out of anger, perhaps said something you wish you could take back. Imagine how different things could have been if you had taken a moment to reflect instead of react. Jesus offered the same wisdom, teaching in the Bible, the wise man builds his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. This is a call to build your life on reason and wisdom, not emotional impulse. When the storms of life hit, and they will, your foundation will hold. The next time someone criticizes you, instead of immediately reacting, what if you listened? What if you calmly evaluated whether there's truth in it and used it to grow? That's the path of the Stoic, and that's the way of true strength. Let your reason be the compass. Let your emotions be visitors, acknowledged, but not in charge. Conclusion: the journey to inner peace and power of teachings of Stoic philosophy, alongside the timeless wisdom of Jesus, give us a map, a way to live not just wisely, but meaningfully, peacefully, powerfully, through mastering detachment, embracing change, practicing daily reflection, cultivating gratitude, and prioritizing reason. We find our way back to ourselves. We become more than reactors to life. We become creators of it. So ask yourself, what lesson resonated most with you today? What small shift will you carry into your next challenge? We'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments. How have these teachings helped you grow? What's one principle you'll start applying today? And if you found value in this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Capsule for more powerful insights on how to live with clarity, courage, and peace. Let's keep walking this path together, one thoughtful step at a time. Because remember, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Choose wisely, think clearly, live fully. Stoic Capsule.